Okay, let's okay. So we are streaming on my Steam Deck. My little Steam Deck is right here, and we are doing a stream on that. That's why the video and everything looks slightly different and a bit janky. Plus, we're doing an Instapot meal, so it's interesting. We're going to be interestingly doing this. So it's Friday, so I take those Friday pills. Friday pills. Okay, so this should be working okay. I haven't tested the audio or anything. So. We shall deal with this together. People can let me know whether or not this is actually working. Yes, Bertie, you're beautiful. Bertie wants a love. Yes, Bertie, you're beautiful. You'll get food in a bit. So we'll wait till everybody appears. Right. And we'll decide the foodiekins. We'll do the foodiekin. So I've moved the camera over to the other side because we're using the Instapot. The nice thing about that camera, I can move it from over there where the oven is to there. I'm dreaming of... It's Munchies today. Munchies! Looking forward to Munchies. Munchies. So we're actually streaming using the Steam Deck. Our current setup is the Steam Deck. Sitting right here. Okay. I'll wait for people to arrive while I do bits and pieces. It should all be working. It should be fine. We're running at... And the Batman. 52% of the yeah, we're okay. We're in a good situation. Yes, we're in a good situation, aren't we, Bertie? A good little situation. But what am I going to cook? I'm going to cook a risotto today because we don't have any potatoes left, any fresh potatoes. So the fresh food is out. Fresh food is out. We are now on using rice. We're going to make a rice meal. It's going to be both early food and late food. And I'm going to add some bits and pieces to it later. Good dog, aren't you? Bertie's good. Down here, love, because there's snuggle pup. And then little baby is a snuggle pup. Belle's in the living room just resting on the sofa because where she likes to rest when we're downstairs. Isn't that right, Bertie? She likes to rest down there, doesn't she? So we're just waiting for people to turn up. You know what? I should turn on. It's my my Discord should be my Discord on here. I did set up Discord. Where are you, Discord? Let's see. Will it work or will it ask me to? Page update, starting. See if it's going to actually start properly. Come on. Oh, don't. Go away. Asking me to log in. I'm not fucking going log in. Go away. Wait. Discord. Well, if Discord's going to be like that, then I am going to turn it on for now. I can check. I should do a on here. I should send a Discord message that people. Discordian. Discord. 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 Go boom. Beep 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 beep. Blue moon. So you start. What? Without a love of your own. Down in Yes, it's cooking time. Hello, Mr. Sock. Just gonna send out a general message. I see the buttons. We got to press buttons. Ooh. Everyone. I don't usually. Everyone. Cooking. Free. Oh. Boop. No. We sent the message. The message has been sent. People now know that I am doing something. Hey, Mr. Sock, how are you? So we're going to, today's a different one, because first of all, we are streaming on my Steam Deck. My little Steam Deck is here, and it's powering all of this. We've got the multiple cameras going through it, and it's handling it just about okay. I'm having a good morning. Good morning, aren't we, Bertie? Having a good morning. Oh, come on, Bertie. You want to love, don't you? Oh, the little Bertie wants love. Yes, he wants to love. He says, no good little Bertie, aren't you? Oh. And so, yay, camera mode. So, we're actually streaming on the Steam Deck. My little Steam Deck is running this entire thing. Which is kind of cool. That we've got, that the Steam Deck can handle this kind of thing. Because we've got two cameras going on it. And the chat system and everything. Yeah. It is a wonderful backup for my backups of backups. I'm still going to turn my laptop into a server to run other things. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah. So yeah, my switch, my thingy is just down there, and I'm going connected to a secondary monitor so I can see everything. I'm going connected to my snowball and my keyboard and my mouse and everything. It does so much. This Steam Deck does so much. Crazy how much you can handle. Yeah, I mean, I usually have my Steam Deck upstairs, but at the moment I'm switching around some bits and pieces in the house. So I decided instead of having the laptop that usually is down here, I'm going to turn into a server to put on. I'm still going to have a server. That laptop is going to be a server for 7 Days to Die and a server for City of Heroes. So that's what that server will set up. The laptop will be set up for that. So it still will be used as a server, just not for the Minecraft server. The Minecraft server is going to have its own online host because that's better. Because just wait. Right. So food wise, we have the Instapot there, and we're going to put stuff in it because we're going to do 2 meals worth of them. See, my limitations, as we know, was I have to make sure that I eat enough between say 10 o'clock in the morning and 4 p.m. 4 p.m. I cannot eat anything after 4 p.m. My body won't allow it. If I eat anything after that, it could be bad for me. So 4 p.m. is my limit every day. So I've got to make sure that I eat enough food and enough calories and everything. 2 big meals. So first of all, we need rice. Rice. We are getting the rice. Rice. We need 100 grams of rice because we have 2 meals. 100 grams of rice. 100 grams of rice goes in the Instapot. Like that. I like having multiple cameras and being able to move them around. Yeah, I used to love playing 7 days to die. Bag. Sausages. We have vegetables, spinach and sausages. So, we're going to put in, first of all, the vegetables, just so I just basic from the company. That's upside down, I'm not going to see the way up. This is the whole of the bowl. So we put a lot of this in. Pressure cooking. So we put 4 sausages. We want spinach. We've got to add some spinach. Quite a hole in there. Put a hole in the bottom. A hole in the bottom of my bucket. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fast done. So, what do we do next? Next, we add what are normal spices? Soups I use. So, the certain soups go in there. Look, 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 look. That's water. Okay. Two, go two. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, I would have loved to have built a server over the months and that, but as we've discussed, really the home internet that would limit it. I think our mind picture is going to have quite a lot of people. So, okay. Two, 1, 2. Stuff to keep warm. There we go. The food is on. That will pressurize itself and do all the cooking. I don't have to do anything. It will just be beeping in a minute. It will beep and tell me when it's ready. Yay. So yeah. So yeah, I'll still use my little laptop as a server for other bits and pieces, but nothing that can be doggy's good. But yeah, I will be able to run easily a 7 days to die server and I'm gonna look. There's a specific mod pack for 7 days to die, an overhaul which kicks ass. So I will have to reinstall a few things on the server because it runs through a dedicated. And I will reinstall all the different bits and pieces. And so our little community will have lots of games they can play if they want. I'm a happy person. For some reason, I'm very happy. No, I like to play them. But you know how my brain is. I need the option to play, but I might not play all the time, like you've seen. Some days I won't be able to get on Minecraft. No, I've got a little home in there, but every time I go to sit down and play, something else comes up. I want to sit down. I want to make my little home in the corner. Okay, what are you doing down there? But yeah, it's like I I need with my brain, the way my brain works, I've got to have options all the time. So I've got 270 games installed on my main computer. Do I play 270 games every week? No. But I need all of the different options. I need strategy games. I need first-person shooters. I need games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Warframe, and I have all my main ones that I play. But some days I will just say, okay, I want to do that, and it needs to be there ready for me to play. It needs to always be there, and that's the same with the online games. I will probably log into City of Heroes once a week. I will probably log into Minecraft more than once a week once I've got that set up. But it needs to be there. It's a comfort thing. I can jump in and jump out. Like having all the different computer systems and the Amiga and everything. I will probably play on the Amiga once a week and that. But it needs to be there because it helps me with my brain to handle it all. And sometimes you will see me completely and totally focus 100% on a game, and I will play all day. It happens. Once if I get hooked by a game, like if I get hooked by Minecraft and start building stuff in Minecraft, I will actually play it a lot more. Oh, I wanted to look at my Bing. I wanted to look at my security cameras. See, I might go parcel today, but it probably won't be today. It'll probably be next week. Right. I'm missing a disc. I'm missing a disc and I'm missing something. I'll have to go looking through all my bits and pieces again. Won't we, Beryl? We're going to have to go looking through all our stuff again. Looking for something because I'm missing my Final Fantasy X disc for the PS2. I'm getting a PS2, a PlayStation 2, so I can play my old games on there. I'm going to start building because I'm no longer going to be building that Super Ninja. Oh, because I'm going to be not building the Super Ninja server over the next 6 months. Instead, some of that money is going to go towards buying retro pieces of tech. I might buy a PSP. I might buy a might try to get into 26. And I haven't got that much interest in the Nintendo side of things. You know, the Nintendo side never drew me in. I love Pokemon. Would prefer to play Pokemon on my Steam Deck. No real interest in actually owning a. I sold the Nintendo DS Lite that we had because that was the last one we ever used. I never had the Switch. We had the Wii U, but I wasn't really interested in that either. Um, Thinking, no, I can't think of. I'd like to get an original Xbox. I would love to get an original Xbox. An original Xbox would be awesome. I used to own the original Xbox Crystal, the see-through one. I loved that originally. Retro tech makes me happy. It always makes me happy, retro tech. I've noticed Persona 3, 3 has come out on Warden. Warden. Warden, I don't know what ship to get next on Star Trek Online. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's anything better than the Vanguard carrier makes me so happy, and the character with the Vanguard carrier, I've actually almost completely upgraded and everything set up. So I'm spoilt now because even the builds that I built around Tychon's Rift and that for the science type things with the deflectors and that, and even the Titan thingy, none of them come anywhere close to the absolute DPS potential of the Vanguard with its extra pets and everything. So I'm looking for something that I want to hit something. I want to hit a ball tactical cube in the face. The only ship I've got that can successfully take on a tactical Borg, the hardest Borg you face inside one of the thingies, is my Vanguard carrier. Now, of course, I've got the Kelvin Timeline Intel Dreadnought. That's a nice one. And I've got it set up I thought was a good way. But it doesn't seem to do anywhere near the kind of damage that my Vanguard does. So it makes me feel like, So I'm looking for another heavy hitter, a heavy hitter ship with a heavy hitter attack. Yeah, they are. And once you've flown the Vanguard with that amount of pets and that you can get out, and it's quite maneuverable, I don't really feel the urge to try anything else. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. We shall see. We'll see what ticks all the boxes for me. I could get a heavy destroyer. Nice. Kitty out with heavy cannons on the front and just grab out of the Vida. What is that? What's the feck here console? The Borg are an interesting species that I like to beat the crap out of. They're the ones you want to beat the crap out of. Doopy-doo-doopy-doopy-doo. So I need to find my PlayStation 2 Final Fantasy X. It's got to be somewhere in the house. I don't want to rebuy it. Rebuying it would be a bad thing. Yeah. Now, I bought a PlayStation 2 and I found my original save game, little 8 meg cartridges, so I might have my original save games for Final Fantasy. I really hope I do. Because that would be awesome. But I can't find the freaking discs anywhere. I found my Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant. I found those, but I haven't found. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing. Actually, I'm gonna give me a sec. I'm just gonna go in the backyard. It's bloody cold, but there's a case of my stuff in the backyard in a plastic case, and I'm gonna check to make sure that case is. Ooh, you collect them. Yeah, I've got Shadow Hearts and Shadow Hearts Covenant because they're my favourite. I'm just going to go in the backyard and grab and see if Final Fantasy is in the box in the backyard. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. You two are with me. Come on, you two, let's go out. Come on, doggies, come in. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Let's give the doggies a sweetie. Go, babies. Right. It's not outside. It's definitely not outside. You remember me talking about that I used to do BDSM and I had custom whips created and put together for me. Do you remember me talking about that, Vida? That in the past, me and Paola did a lot of that, and I was quite good with the whip and everything. Well, looking in the case, I thought I'd sold all of the old whips. I thought I'd sold all the old whips, but I found this in the case outside. This is a custom made one that still smells of the leather. Wonderful, wonderful one. This was one of the main ones. Yeah. This is one of. I had a ball whip. I had 3 different paddles built for me. Some riding crops were built custom back then in the late 90s. But this is the only one that's left. This is the only one I still own. But yeah, it's a really nice, expensive leather and brilliant, beautiful to use. Beautiful to use. So I still have that. Wow. I'm actually amazed that I still have it. So, yes. I went outside to find a PS2 game, and I found one of my old whips. Yeah, BDSM can be so much fun. BDSM can be so much fun if you're with the right person and you trust them. Dog Jaws, yay! Yeah. It's an interesting side of life. I'll have to show Womanji that. I'll have to show Womanji that. I thought he had sold it all when Paola got ill. But obviously, this was at the bottom of one of the trunks that we had of old equipment and that. So I went outside to find a PS2 game, and I found that. Yeah, Womanji will love that. But yeah, that was custom made by a master whip and whip, paddle, and cane maker. We made wonderful work. I can't remember who it was who did it, but yeah, still smells of leather. I tell you what, this was amazing to use. Yeah, so I'll let her know about that. Yeah, me and Wamanji share stories quite a lot about our past. The funny thing is that BDSM suits autistic people very, very well. There's something about the way an autistic mind works that an autistic person can be very, very good at it. It's like I had no problem picking up shibari, rope work, and I I pretty much instantly understood all the knots and the way the material and how you bind someone safely and all that kind of thing. And the same when it came to whips and these. It took me very little training to learn how to use one of these properly. Yeah, yeah. To know just the amount of, to elicit this right response, to use these in the right way, and to always make sure you don't do more than you'll need to with something like this. Because even though this is quite soft and has thingy, this can bite. This can really bite when you pop it. Oh yeah, you can use this in a very sensual way, a very soft way. I mean, one of the nicest things to do with this. Yeah, I should do that. You're right. Don't want it to break. The only part of piece I've got left now. But yeah, the one of the things I've talked about this girl that I knew, and she is the only true what we would call a pain slut I ever knew. Basically, her brain was completely rewired so that pain for her was pleasure. Surely, I mean, she was the only real one. I've met a who think they are, but most people like a bit of pain and you can do some of this with it. But she actually was a pure pain slut. And one of the nicest things is after like a 3 hour or 4 hour session, and yes, sessions would go on for that long, you just take this and you slowly run it down a person's back over and over, just tickle their back with it after you've done all the other stuff. Near the end, she just, as she's slowly coming down from it all, after all the harsh stuff that you've done, the paddle and that, you just take this at the very end and you just slowly drape it down her back, slowly pull it down to her legs, and just keep doing that. And let's just say it evokes quite a response in those situations. It's kind of cool for that kind of thing. You don't have to use them in a harsh way or thing. They have multiple uses. I'm just remembering all the naughty things that I did with that. It has multiple uses. Yeah. Mm. For example, would people like to know one of the other uses of it? Oh, yeah. Well, the whole point is, with this kind of thing, you don't. This isn't just a tool. This is part of an extension of your body. This is every part of this can be used. When you've got someone tied up in bondage and you use one of these, like Vida said, the rough and the soft. There's many, many different ways to use one of these if you're inventive. Like, for example, I don't know how far they can't demonetize my videos because we don't monetize them. And we don't have to worry about any kind of sponsorship. This is the wonderful thing about this channel. I don't have to keep anything done. So let's just this is not safe for work. This is definitely not safe for work. And this what we're going to talk about now is one of the ways that this was very good at. And I had multiple females tell me that it is quite interesting for them is, well, if you run, yeah, let's say you've got a submissive, you've got her tied up, and that she's relaxing in the tied up position, and so you're using this on her, but to change things up a little bit, this part here with these knobs is perfect, absolutely perfect to slide between a girl's legs and up against her pussy, back and forth, very slowly, very, very slow, just so you gently touch with each knob the clitoris as you go past. It can have quite an effect because then you go from that and then you start to use this on the legs, on the back of the thighs, period, the back, on the breast. Then you go back to this slowly to enhance certain things, and then it can be quite an it can it's a work of art. You are actually, it's almost like the person you're doing that is an instrument and you're playing a tune and evoking responses. And the balance is knowing when to go from hot to cold, or from, for example, I can explain now. Right, now, for example, let's talk about this. Now, this here was one of my actual, this, or a normal cutlery knife, a normal blunt cutlery knife like this, I used in one particular situation. You see, I did a lot of what's called erotic hypnosis, where you use hypnosis and that to create situations that, and to help someone fulfill their fantasies without it being in a dangerous situation. For example, one time fantasies that you can't do in real life or would be dangerous to do in real life. Like, for example, I once created a scene working with someone for someone so that they could experience having sex with a dragon. This person wanted to have sex with a dragon. Now, in realistic life, that's not going to happen. And if it did happen, it would probably be, the logistics of it is not a good thing. But let's talk fantastical situation. So we created a instance in her brain so that she actually could experience that as if it was real. But that's actually something erotic hypnosis. You can use it. Let's say someone comes to you and said, in the past, someone came to me and said they wanted to actually experience the idea of a gangbang. 40 or so guys, non-consensual sex. In real life, that's a bad thing. You don't go wandering into the bad neighborhoods. You don't ask for that because it will end up with death. It's a bad thing. But using erotic hypnosis, you can give them their experience without them being in a situation where that. Now, where this came about was I had someone who I was helping, and she had an extreme fetish desire to be cut, to be sliced, to be hurt, she wanted basically to be flayed. Now, no BDSM master is going to entertain those things and allow them. First of all, she was not in trauma. She was not psychologically unstable. This was just a fetish of hers, something that, it was both. It was both the blood and it was being cut. She wanted to actually be cut. She wanted permanent scars on her body, deep scars. She wanted to be stabbed. Now, we couldn't do that. There's no way me and Paola would do that in any way, shape, or form with anyone. Even though the person was completely stable and wanted it and was happy to sign something to say that they wanted, you can't do that. You don't do that. There's too many dangers. It's a bad thing. No ethical person will ever do something like that. So what I did was this. I used this. I tied her up. You've got to think, this was 6 months together. 6 months as the person me and Paola was looking after. We had got to the point where I could basically do any kind of erotic hypnosis. I had full access to her subconscious. I could create any situation with that person. She was an amazing subject. So what we did one day was this. We told her that we were going to do it. And we tied her up and blindfolded her. And then I took this, and what I was doing was actually just running it down her back, this. But as far as she could tell, because of the erotic hypnosis, I was flaying her skin. It was completely real to her. Not only that, but as far as she was concerned, for half the situation, this was a piece of ice that I was doing it with. And for the rest of the situation, it was a burning hot knife that was basically cooking her skin. And by the end of it, she realized that she didn't actually want the real things. When she realized that this wasn't real at the end of it, when we explained it all, and that she came down from it all and understood that this hadn't been real and that, she thanked us because she understood that when she actually experienced it, when it went from fantasy real, when it went from fetish to real in her mind, it crossed a line for her. But using this, we safely did it. Of course, you have safeguards in place, you have barriers in place, so this kind of thing can't do any long-term trauma to them. You have to do that. This is why erotic hypnosis is so hard to do. Because you've got to spend months with the person, preparing them and preparing their mind for whatever they want to experience so that they can do it in a safe way. safety has to be key. The reason we did that with her was because it was getting to the point where I knew she would go out, get a knife, and actually do it to herself. And so the only way to show her that this wasn't actually what she wanted was to get her mind to experience it as near to real as possible. Because the thing is this, you may say, how can you do that? How do you do it? Because everybody's cut themselves. So you can draw on that experience and overlay it onto something else. You can look at a real thing that happened. Everybody has burnt themselves accidentally. So you've got that experience in their mind that you can grab hold of, that it's a real experience, and you can convert it into that. And so on. So it's been a very, very long time. A very long time. Anything. Anything. But there's so much stuff out there that people should, as long as you're with the right person, and me and Vida have talked about this before, it's very hard to find an actual really good master or mistress, someone who you can trust yourself with. It's very hard to find that because there's a lot of power tripping, there's a lot of egos, there's a lot of assholes out there. Thankfully, the scene usually self-polices. You will find out that if you ever visit one of the scene munchies, or if you visit one of the scene events like they hold in London and Manchester and Birmingham and things like that, or elsewhere in the world, if someone ends up being a bad master and hurts someone or does something wrong in that, they will very much be excluded from all these places and that. They self-police themselves a lot and look at it. Because the people involved, first of all, when it comes to it, people think that being a submissive is the easy one. No. Most people can't be a submissive. To be a submissive, you have to have that in you to actually give control to someone else. It's beyond most people, and it takes a lot of strength to do that. It isn't a weakness, it's a strength to be able to give yourself in that way to someone. And you have to remember something very important when it comes to, this is the way I've always thought of it. If you are ever looking after someone and they've given themselves to you, if they're your charge, then you are responsible for something completely priceless, another human being. And you are responsible for another sentient being. You have got to put them first. You have got to make sure that every action you do isn't because you can do it, but because it's best for them. That's the hard part. That's the trick. As a master or a mistress, you've got to all. Momanji is an amazing, when she's done it in the past, and she's like that. She's also knows this as well, that you are being given a gift, another human being who is willing to let you do whatever you want to them, who is giving you an extreme level of trust beyond marriage, beyond anything, beyond love, beyond anything else. You've got to respect that and make sure that you do everything right for that person. Put them first. Do what's best for them all times. Because you're in charge of another human being. And that's why you've got to always be in that mindset of making sure that it's very easy to get corrupted. It's very easy if you're given someone and you're in control of them. It is very easy to fall down that path. That is why there's not many really good masters and mistresses out there, because it is a hard thing to do. And having that level of care for someone else can be amazingly rewarding. It isn't just about the sex or anything like that. You can improve their entire life. You can be the person who can help them out of any situation because they completely trust you. If they're at college, you can make sure that they study, and they'll study because they trust you. They'll do it for you. They'll pass their exams. I've helped people in the past get through their exams and that, who were me and Paola were looking after, because they trusted us so much, and we were allowed them doing things like that, or we helped them get a better job and things like that, which people don't talk about as well. But there's that side of it. You can improve a person's entire life because you are the person they trust. No, I haven't, Dark Jaws. I'm always looking for new things. What's it about? What's it about? What are we? The food's done. The food's done, but it's going to need to rest for a little bit because we don't want to open it up yet because all the gas will hit this. See, slavery, funny enough, I at one time, for 6 months, I was a slave. Very early on, slave to a professional mistress. Why? Because as someone who was following the path of being a master at the time, I wanted to know what it was like so I could better be the best master I could be to anyone I decided to look after in the future. And the best way to do that was to actually experience it from the other side. And I wore an eternity collar, a steel eternity collar, for 6 months in the 90s. I saw that side of it because I didn't have an ego, and it was an interesting thing for my mind. I wanted to experience and see what this would be like. So yeah, I gave myself to someone for 6 months. It was a friend of Paola's who was a professional mistress back then. And it was very interesting. And it allowed me to know what it's like from the other side, so that I would never have done anything with someone who I was looking after that I wouldn't put myself through. It can be an amazing, rewarding relationship. It can be most loving, and you can go into do things together that you can never do anything else. But it's not for everyone. The fun thing about these kind of talks is we chat about anything. I'll have a look at your Dark Jaws after this finishes. Dark Jaws, can you Discord message me the name of the series to, if you just go and message? Yeah, yeah, exactly, Goblin. In a good DS relationship, the slave, the submissive, has to look after the master or the mistress just as much as the master and mistress have to look after the slave or submissive, because it's that sort of symbiotic relationship that if you don't, or to be a true master to look after someone, you have to open yourself up. Hello, Madeline Cooper. Welcome to the channel. We were doing cooking, but the cooking's done. It's just waiting for it to the pressure to go on at the moment. And now we're talking about BDSM. Yeah, it is a two-way street. There has to be trust both ways. You can't, and there has to be really no ego. You can't have ego in a BDSM relationship. I'm looking forward to tonight. I'm looking forward to singing tonight. I haven't done much practice. I think I'm just going to sing some of my normal songs tonight at the open mic. VRchat, because it's so much fun. Waiting for his food. The doggy are waiting for their food now. They want their food. They're like, where's my food? Where's my food? You'll get your food once I'm going to have my food. Always better to do that, or you think you should have some of my food as well as yours. But yeah, no food for you yet. So yeah. Oh, Vida, are you still there, Vida? Vida, 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 are you there? Thank you, Dark Rose. Vida, 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 Vida. Can you Discord message me the name of that visual novel that you were talking about yesterday? Because I haven't crossed over this computer to that computer up there, and so that when I go upstairs to my main computer, I can look the stuff up on my main computer. It's always best to pass me stuff on Discord so that there's a record of it. Because unfortunately, when this chat ends, that's the end of the record of it. So we don't get to chat about it. Yes, so that's the messages going to my Discord. Yay. So yeah. Yep, that's good. Discord messages. Oh, I'm here. Bertie's here. Bertie wants to love. Bertie wants to love. I had a little Bertie on here. Yes, you are. You're beautiful, aren't you? You can have some food in a bit. Don't worry. Foodie doggy. Doggy want foodie? Yes, doggy want foodie. Of course, doggy want foodie. Beryl doesn't really care about food that much. She's just like, she'll eat. But she's not a food-centric dog, Beryl isn't. So there's lots of different things and fun things out there to explore. I wonder if this is actually... Oh, yeah. I'm going to let it... Whee. I tell you what, though, when you think about it, this little Steam Deck doing this streaming, it works so well. It really does. When you think it's running OBS in desktop mode, it's running two cameras, two high definition cameras through. It's transcoding for upload and it's streaming at the same time, and it's recording because I'm recording, and it's transcoding the recording as well so that I can upload it to YouTube. All that stuff it does, just the Steam Deck is freaking amazing for its size, and it's got all my retro games on, and it's got all AAA games on as well. It can do so much. Really is an amazing piece of kit. You're a good dog, Bertie. Yes, you're a good doggy. Wants more love. Doggy always wants more love. Yeah, they are the. You can have a play of mine when you come down. I think by the time you leave mine, you'll definitely want one, because they are so, they're stunning. When you think you can use it as a desktop replacement like this, it's a full at the moment it's a full desktop replacement. It is set up there with everything plugged into it, the mic, the cameras, and everything. It's got a dual monitor going to it, secondary monitor going with it, with all the stuff on. It can handle all of that, and it can do retro gaming. You can plug it in the Enmeal glasses The annual glasses are freaking amazing to use with it. Vida. Question, Vida, when you come up, I don't have any tea or coffee. Are you okay just having juice? I don't have tea or coffee in my house. Yeah, the Unreal is bloody amazing. Unreal is. Yay. So yeah, juice. Juice. We have juice. Yay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because some people they die. Yeah, some people die without their coffee and tea, and I don't even have. I don't keep any coffee or tea in the house at all anymore because I haven't had it for ages. So I just want to make sure we're okay. For those that don't know, we're not going to build the Super Ninja server because the limitation isn't the hardware. I did a video about it this morning. The limitation is not the hardware because we can do the hardware slowly over time. It is the internet connection at my house. While the internet connection at my house could handle like 4 or 5 people concurrently on a Minecraft server, it doesn't have the bandwidth. My upstream doesn't have the bandwidth to handle anymore. And I think the Minecraft server is going to become a primary place for us all to play. And I don't want it to be limited. It wouldn't matter if I built the most super ninja. For the simple fact, I was going to build a super ninja server to have it upstairs and that. That would have been perfect, but without a gigabit connection. Yeah. So if you ever want to join our server, Madeline, just join the Discord that we have. And if someone else will have to post the Discord thingy, because I also on a computer with the Discord on at the moment, I haven't set up Discord on here. And we have a server, the Eternal MC. We're going to keep it going all the time. And it's going to go on a different external one, which looks really good, which we'll be able to expand to have like 10 or 20 people. Yeah. So I think we'll end up with a lot of people wanting to play on the Discord, on the Minecraft server that we have. And they're all the same people. They all come from Azeal videos and stuff like that. They're all people who understand about mental illness and mental health. Now it's just a really nice community. So yeah. So Vida, if you can paste the grab the link from our Discord, and then it's a whitelist server. So we'll need if you give him private on the Discord server, or Vida can let Goblin. Goblin mode is the one who's actually the admin on the server at the moment. So she's doing all that kind of thing, so she can add your name to it. So feel free to join. We're going to move it to a bigger server than it is, a different place than it is now. But we'll save all the people, and the world will be saved, and we'll just FTP it off and then send it up to the new server once we've got it ready. So, yeah. So just join that, and you're welcome. It's a really good. Yeah. It's all yeah, just friend goblin mode on the actual server, and then thingy. So it's just a place for anybody who's genuine, and that we don't have many rules. It's basically just don't be a dick, don't grief people, don't trash people. The place is there for everybody to have a safe place, both the server and both the Discord server and thingy. So just like this stream, anything goes. We can talk about anything. There's no limits if we can talk, because I don't go any sponsorship or any kind of I don't have any kind of algorithm thing you have to watch. We can talk about anything. But the server's there, the Minecraft server is there, so anybody can go play on our server. The image stabilization on this camera is very good. I've noticed that. Yeah, everybody's welcome who's on here. Anybody who wants to spend time with us, and you can always message me. Oh yeah, it's my Samsung. It's my Samsung. As I've always said, phone cameras are absolutely gorgeous. So much better than webcams. That's a Samsung S20 FE, which I'm using via the OBS camera plugin for OBS, and the color quality in that compared to a normal webcam is amazing. It's better than my one upstairs as well. Better if my camcorder ever fails, I'll replace it with something like this, an old camera. Because the lights and color balance is stunning compared to. I mean, look at let's just do an example. Look at the small picture here. This picture is from my Logitech webcam. Now, as you can see, it's pretty washed out, but let's go over there with this. Look at the same from the same kind. Look at the difference. Right next to the actual camera. Look at the difference. You're going to be doing food if you're going to streaming food images and stuff like that. Camera phone, so much better. Hello. Yeah, I mean, let's just open this up now. We can look at what's like in there. Well, there was options on the phone that just mix all the stuff up. There we are. There was also is. Microphone. I am using my old. This is not my main microphone. Hello, generally. This is my old backup snowball, blue snowball. Yeah, blue snowball. It's not very good compared to me one upstairs, my 80-20-20. So what are we cooking? It's risotto. It's rice, vegetables, sausages, and spinach with a little bit of soup for the sauce. In the instant. So yeah, the blue snowball, I think it's called the blue snowball. But this is my backup one for the main one I use upstairs. Actually, yes. Yeah, ask questions. Yeah, I would have use for that because it'd mean I don't. You see, I have like 3 or 4 different computers set up in different streaming locations. I have like, yeah. But the Blue Yeti, this one's. Calm down, you two. Calm down. It was just someone honking a horn outside. They're allowed to do that. Freaking hell. Ask your question, generally. But yeah, it's quite a nice cheap one, and but yeah, Vida, I could do with it because that means I wouldn't have to keep moving this Blue Yeti to the see. I keep the one that's set up on my main computer, my mainstream. I keep that set up there all the time. That's the 80-20-20. But for all the other places in the house that I do streaming, like I have this one in the kitchen, if I want to stream my thingy upstairs, if I want to stream my Amiga, do a retro stream on there, or the PlayStation, I have to move this mic upstairs and set it up there. So if you could bring that out, are you sure you want to give me all this stuff? You don't have to. I mean, you're being awesome, but are you sure? Oh God, yeah. I've worn the Valve Index for 8 hours at a stretch, and you do not need. The Valve Index is the most comfortable headset you will get out of the box. The padding on it is amazing, and the balance on the Valve Index is compared to any other headset. There's no headset out there that is comfortable as the Valve Index to wear long. Literally, when I'm wearing the Valve Index, I can forget that I've got it on. I can wear it for hours at a time. I used to wear it for a lot longer as well, and it is one of the. You don't need to change it and that. It as it is out of the box. As long as you set it up right, it's really the most comfortable headset I've ever used. And I've used the original Vive, the Oculus Rift, the Quest 2, the Vive Pro, and so on. I've used a lot of different ones, but the Valve Index is still the most comfortable headset I've ever used. I hope that answers the question generally. So, in a minute, I'm going to go. I'm going to have my food, and I'm going to give the dogs their food too. Yeah. The Quest 2, the only reason to use the Quest 2 with the material strap is if you want to lie in bed. It is very good for sleeping in because it just is basically a piece of material and you can use it like that. But anything else for the Quest 2, you want some kind of strap replacement to make it comfortable. And you need something like the VR covers replacement for the actual phone, because the phone facial gasket is really uncomfortable long term. Well, even though they updated it with silicon, it's still horrible compared to anything else. The Vive Valve Index is one of the only ones that you get that you never need to mod it. Make it. But yeah, I've heard the good things about the Bobo VR Mark M2 Pro. The Halo one's very comfortable. But yeah, the only reason to use the original strap on a Quest 2 is if you want to sleep in it. This is why I keep mine with the strap on, with the normal strap on. I have got the old Deluxe Audio 5 strap that fits it, works really well. But I prefer to have the material strap on it simply because when that's on, it feels just like you're wearing a normal face mask if you lie with it on your face. So anything else anybody wants to ask me before we shut down this stream for now? And I've still got to try and find my Final Fantasy X. They're somewhere in the house. I can't believe that I'd get rid of them. I have no idea what Gosh is. I have no idea what that is. Never heard of it, sadly. Shameful gosh. Never heard of it. Oh, we should do something for that. I'm so random, the stuff I do, and I don't know how to. Yeah, I know what it is now. I just didn't know gosh. I didn't know it by its abbreviation. I know it by its actual full name, not that. Sadly, sometimes I'm very literal. So it's like, what's gosh? Where's gosh come from? Don't know that abbreviation. So anybody who wants to talk to me, I'll be on Discord and I'll be on Discord, and anybody can friend me on Discord and with me. I'm always there bouncing around. So I will say bye bye for now. I'm going to eat. I'm going to feed the dogs. Thank you for being here, and it's been a lovely little chat this morning. I'll be doing a normal stream a bit later. Once I've found my freaking Final Fantasy X, my brain is like, I've got to find them, I've got to find them, I've got to find them. I need to know where my Final Fantasy is. Go looking. It is a challenge. We'll say bye bye for now. Bye bye, you wonderful people. I will be back on stream probably in a couple of hours, depending on when I find my freaking Final Fantasy X. I don't want to have to rebuy them.